Hey everyone, welcome to the latest of the Overboard Network, a Below Deck podcast. We're back with season 3, episode 3 of Sailing Yacht, titled I'ma Let You Finish. But in this week's episode, everyone is apologizing to Ashley. We start to see more tension between the stews, and we welcome on our crew's favorite former guests. Plus, we'll give out some awards and go out with our question of the week. Then we'll finish up with some life advice around managing a budget. As always, you can email us at belowdeckpod@gmail.com to submit life advice questions you have. Let's bring in my co-host. Now, Sean, aside from the terrible titled I'ma Let You Finish, was there anyone else in this episode except Ashley, Tom, and Chuck?
Whoever is in charge of naming these episodes was waiting to use like a Kanye pun.
Yeah, like we got the pun. It's just bad.
Yeah. But whoever this was, they were waiting years, and they're like, okay, a lot of almost were mentioned tonight.
Yeah,
we're gonna go for it. Yeah, this
was their Super Bowl.
It's not my favorite title. Jen, I have a lot of thoughts on Chuck, but I mean, tonight was really a showcase episode for Ashley, especially the first half of the episode. It was all Ashley all the time, and I can't wait to get to it. We should probably start with Tom and Ashley, but all of the Ashley politicking with Gabby and kind of power moving her and kind of moving up the ranks. I just loved every minute of that. I can't wait to get to that.
Yeah, I think Ashley's like a start for all the wrong reasons.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah. So, all right. So let's get into it a little bit. So the big thing that we see is the conclusion of Tom and Ashley. So in the previous episode, Tom gets frustrated with Ashley, kind of a dick to him, saying, "Oh, I wouldn't date someone your age," but yet they're the same age. And so, we get to the conclusion kind of the next day. Tom has a little talk with Gary, and Gary actually puts him on the straight, just saying, hey, sometimes these small things can become big things, and suggests that he apologizes to her, or at least talks it out, right?
Yeah. What was the apology about, though? Because she was pretty mean to him, I guess, for raising his voice.
I think it was, that he got, I think he was just apologizing that, he got seated with her that night because he thought that she was attacking him for being young and naive and all that, when really that's not the case.
Well, she never really backed down, though. She was like, yeah, I think you're immature. And she never backed down from that. So, and I don't being none of the girls are going to hook up with you sober. I mean, that's pretty mean. I think he apologized because he wanted to hang out and talk to her more. And there is sexual tension there.
We wanted to just get a clean slate.
Yeah.
There's even this time where you towards the end, Ashley's even saying "Oh, I was gonna come talk to you anyway." No, you were not, Ashley. You were not gonna go make amends, mea culpa with Tom. He just happened to be the bigger man in this situation, and now you're just gonna pretend that you were gonna do the same.
I kind of thought about it he's kind of interrupting her work too. So again, maybe she's not really into the apology at the time. And she said her radio was off. I don't know if that's true. Maybe she's on to Tom, but I don't know. There is a little sexual tension there, right?
There definitely is. Maybe to Tom, but there's kind of enough there. And I mean, considering Ashley was ready to hook up with Gary night one, unless she really has it in just for Gary, she's kind of down to clown a little bit, right?
Yeah, if someone's your type, they're your type. Now, I think it that's her head saying I don't want to hook up with a guy that's that immature. But if the physical attraction's there, I think it's going to happen. John, that's not wanting to hook up with someone that you work with because of the complications. If you're still attracted to them, I feel it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but people just put themselves in those situations all the time. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen there. because there's little Gary Daisy foreshadowing this episode. But
now, Sean, put in, give me a percentage here. What are the odds Tom and Ashley? I'm gonna say more than kiss.
I'm gonna say 40%.
Okay, that's not bad.
I
think I'm with you there, because I think Gary kind of wants to hook up with her. I think that's probably going to happen at some point. That kind of makes it weird for everybody else, but she's a wild card, man. She can go a lot of different ways here.
Yeah, and I don't know if, like John, you said, like maybe he apologized to kind of reset everything with her.
Yeah,
and maybe that did work. Like, even though like apology wasn't really warranted, like he didn't have to do that, and maybe it was just to get more one-on-one time with her.
I mean, candidly, I thought it should have been a apology the other way around, right?
Yeah,
Like,
or like
she should have probably apologized to him. She was really mean to him, man.
yeah, like it should have been a mutual apology.
I'd be pretty upset. Yeah. So I didn't really see the mutual apology. Sean, there was another apology that happened. So during the episode, Gabriella was like kind of sick. She made a list for Ashley to do. Ashley just doesn't do it. She's kind of just sitting there saying she's helping Daisy plan. Gabriella ends up doing all the cleaning. Like, then comes in and in front of everybody, it's just like, hey, did you do any of this shit? Like, I gave you a list. What on the list are you doing right now? And like, I can see why Gabriella is frustrated, and it's not a good look for Ashley, but it's also not a good look for Gabriella calling her out in front of everybody.
I think I mentioned at the top, this is my favorite part of the episode. So, okay. Every job I've ever worked, there's always been someone like this, where they invite themselves into management discussions, where they're like the least important person at the job. Yeah. But like, if they see like two managers talking, they'll kind of walk up and discuss with them. And it does work. I don't know why. It just, you do seem more important when you're doing that. So like, just great power move by Ashley to sort of like, oh, Gabby gives me this list. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit down next to Daisy and pretend like I'm helping Daisy with these like decisions, which I'm pretty sure she's not. Like, she's just kind of maybe agreeing with Daisy, or just like, also, or maybe like, I think at one point she kind of offers up suggestions like for other ways to do stuff, and Daisy's not going to take those suggestions. But in a weird way, it like, to Daisy, makes like Ashley seems like she has a lot of initiative, which she doesn't, but it seems that way. And also it just makes Daisy like her. And John, like, wouldn't you agree when Gabby kind of interrupts their meeting, if you call it a meeting, it was just like kind of Ashley hanging near Daisy and brings up the list, Daisy kind of gets annoyed with Gabby, right?
Yeah, so Daisy gets annoyed because of Gabby, but they're both just, Daisy just doesn't have time for this shit, man. Like, she has the most high maintenance charter guest she's ever worked with. There was actually something, I think Daisy basically said that like this wasn't put out, but on her Twitter, she said, my reaction to Erica coming back was not shown, but she was actually crying when she found out they were coming and wasn't mentally prepared and overwhelmed. So like, she's probably she just doesn't have time for Gabriella and Ashley to bicker. She's just like, we just need to get this shit done now. And yeah, I genuinely think that like Daisy wasn't upset at either of them, just didn't have any time for it.
Right, but Ashley wins though, because Ashley just wasn't doing her job. And
yes, Ashley wins by not doing her job. She does.
And they come away even in Daisy's eyes. So
yeah, but it's really interesting because even Gary says to Gabriella, just says, hey, you shouldn't really call someone out in front of everybody. It's not a good look for them. It's not a good look for you. And so yet again, Ashley's getting another apology. Like, first off, this seems like the most leadered Gary I've ever seen. So he was a great leader in this episode. And I don't want to take away from that, but we're all just apologizing to Ashley. And I think that's A, because Ashley cannot apologize. I don't think it's in her blood. And B, Sean, did you see how she took the apology from Ashley?
Wait, how Gabby took or how Ashley took the apology?
Yeah.
What wasn't she like? She's not into the rankings.
No, but she said it like she's also like, I'm not into the rankings. She's like, you should have thought about the impact before you did it. Like she was just basically like, she was just totally being a bitch to Gabriella. It just was like,
oh, I missed
Gabriella
that.
Gabriella she was just trying to apologize, trying to be like, hey, I'm sorry I did this. And Ashley just had no time for it. She's like, yeah, you should have thought about that. How did you not think of the impact before you did it? Like, dude, remind me to never apologize to Ashley for anything. It does not come off well.
The people feel compelled to apologize to her thanks to Gary. And like Gary's given great advice. The advice to the advice to Gabriella was like perfect. Like,
yeah,
because like she didn't come across looking good, like saying that in front of everyone. That is true, and they're even in Daisy's eyes right now. But yeah, Gary keeps getting everyone to apologize to Ashley, and Ashley's just like, she doesn't give you that closure at all. It's like, yeah, you should be apologizing, but I don't actually forgive you.
Yeah,
even though I wasn't really wronged.
Yeah. So Sean, you want to get into our charter guests here?
I think we should.
Yeah. So we've got obviously Erica and Cindy are coming back. So they're the lovable mother-daughter combo. And this time Erica, I don't know if she was married before, but she's bringing in Chuck, Charles, I guess, if he's trying to be classy, but this guy's totally a Chuck. And not all of them make it. So Cindy doesn't even make it on time because apparently there's like this police thing and she was stealing an omelet or something. And Glenn was like surprised when he heard about it. And Daisy just goes, I told you, they're crazy. I mean, like Daisy is not happy that they're coming back on board. Sean, just give me your reaction to this. What was going on? Chuck, Erica, the whole thing. It was just, there's so much nonsense that happened.
There's a lot to get to, like with steak orders and bikinis. But John, I mean, okay. So Erica and Chuck are in first class, right?
Yep.
And Cindy, Erica's mom, is in coach.
Now, economy plus.
All right. Now, right there, isn't it a bad look for Chuck to make your mother-in-law sit in economy plus when you're in first class?
It's not a good look. I've never been on a plane where my senior relative is in coach and I'm in first class, but I would switch.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you do. Like if you're on a bus and a woman gets on or a kid gets on, you stand up and give them your seat. Right now, maybe on a plane, you don't just give your first class seat to anyone, but if it's your parent or your in-law, you do.
Yeah, I think I would feel awkward. Now, I don't know, like maybe Chuck's the one with the money. I don't know. Regardless, it's just like it's a weird move. Now he tries to make it up to her by giving her his omelet, apparently in first class. Now, but so
no, he was sleeping, and she took the omelet that he ordered while he was sleeping, and that's why the whole hullabaloo. He didn't do anything. Let's not make Chuck he's not the saint here.
Okay, and so we're supposed to believe that she was kicked off the flight because of that. I'm in midair. They just someone's omelet was stolen. We're making an emergency landing. Like I'm very confused. That was a big story, right?
That's a fake story. It's
probably a mass thing.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you see him every day in the news. So now, Sean, a couple things I found out about Chuck. He's a Gemini, which if I know anything about Below Deck, don't deal with Geminis. I don't follow it.